Tonight we start tying onto the front beam. And I'm going to start by cutting these loops apart. And now I'm going to comb through everything. Make sure I got all the loops out. There we go. So I'm going to start with my purple here in the middle. I'm going to find about the middle of it. So these that I'm tying on now, they're actually going to be my fringe at the end of a shawl. So it doesn't matter if they're a little long, because I am going to use every bit of the front of this warp. When I tie these on, I start by just tying the first half of the square knot, because they will need to be tightened later once everything is on. So I just start with one half of it. The reason I tie half of the square knot is because I'm going to have to tighten a lot of these up, depending on which one is the tightest. So it's easier not to have to untie all of them again, even if I do have to untie them. I think I take a lot of shortcuts that maybe don't always turn out the best, and maybe not everybody would approve of. But weaving is an art form where you make it work for you. I've got them all tied on now. Now I need to check the tension and see how the center ones where I started, super loose. And then as I go to the outside ones are super loose, but the center ones in particular are very loose. So this is why they're only tied once. I'm gonna tighten them up, just like that. And I can kind of feel the tension as I go, so I can kind of judge where they need to be and which ones need tightened more or less. And I'm going to run my hands across again. I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and tie the other half of these square knots. Okay, that feels pretty good. I'm going to show you guys a couple things over here. I am not the expert on this loom. This is only the third time I've wove on this loom. So other people may see things that don't seem right. Feel free to chime in. I've just done, what works for me and what worked for the person who owned it before me. So first I'm going to tighten this guy down, and this tightens my back break. I'm going to take off the back break. So a couple things back here. This is my back break. And this one is where I advance it. So when I pull up on this, it advances the warp. So you can see that the back one lets it feed forward, and the front one keeps my tension. The first 4 throws are very important to see if everything is threaded correctly. And I'm going to measure out 3 lengths across my warp of my weft. that's just going to sit off to the side here because that is what I'm going to do my hem stitch with to make the nice fringe on the edge. So, next step is to make the edge of my fringe look pretty with a hem stitch, which I measured out weft for earlier. So I've got this length of weft that I know will go all the way across. You can find instructions for this hem stitch all over on YouTube. That's where I learned it. Our fringe is all now tied with a hem stitch. You've joined us just in time for our first bobbin switch. This one ran out of bobbin. Here's what I have left of that one. I go to the next throw, which will be a 3. I load my new bobbin. This is the bobbin, the white. This is the weft. This is a boat shuttle. It comes through the front hole like that. And then I'm going to overlap them by about ½ inch. So I'm going to throw this, but I'm going to hold on to the end, work it through, and then I'm going to come up here and give it about ½ inch overlap, just like that. So after it's all wet finished, I will cut these off and these off and these off. And now we'll give you a couple minutes of just plain weaving.